everybody, welcome back. It's Laura at Hyperstamper. One of my favorite junk journals to make are the wedding journals, and this one is no exception. I did my signature dress here that I made out of vintage laces and bits and pieces, parts of old wedding dresses, and the cover itself is the front of a 55-year-old wedding dress. So it's got the Chantilly lace on there and the original satin. And this is a vintage trim from another vintage blouse. I just love it. And I did some other vintage pieces down here and an antique button in the bottom. And the little dress is on its little hanger there, hanging from this rope. I love it. I hope you do too. Everything inside, every single page and insert is wedding themed, antique and vintage ephemera. So there's no commercial products, and it's just, if you know somebody who's getting married, or if you want to commemorate your own wedding, even if it was like 100 years ago, what a beautiful little keepsake. So it's nice to give up something like this to a bride-to-be early so she can start documenting her preps for the wedding and so on. So let's take a little look inside here. This is from the early 1900s. It's actually from the Love Letters from a Musician book that I had. It's beautiful. It says a wedding march here. And there's the bridal chorus. And then here is the text that goes along with that. It's wonderful. It's perfect for this junk journal. This is Chantilly lace from a different vintage wedding dress, about 51 years old. And then this here is a wonderful magazine page that I have collected. And this one is from the 50s. And look at this, an apron calendar for the bride. There's little cupids here, and then aprons for every season. That's something you would probably get for a bride-to-be as a gift, a handmade set of aprons that she can use every month. How cool, right? This is from the 60s, so this is just under 60 years old, and it's very pretty. It is a bride-to-be bridal shower invitation. Never got used. It was still brand new in its package, and I love it. I think it's beautiful with the silver embossing on there. This is a vintage music sheet, almost antique, and it is called Love Song. We all know that beautiful song. Now this here I put in because it's 2 divided by 1 will always equal 2. So that's, for me, that's the happy couple, and I love it. This here is the bar loop eyes, and this is from the 20s, and that is something that they would have used for something like a wedding dress, for the silk loops. So I think that's a really cool thing to have in there. This is a vintage book, and it's got a little picture down here. It's a golden wedding anniversary picture of the Eaton's family. I really like that too. This here is an iron-on for embroidering on towels, and this would have been a gift. You'd also give the bride and groom his and hers hand towels. And in here is a very old wedding gift card that never got written in, and you can open that up, journal inside, or do whatever you like with it. But that's a very old Hallmark card. Isn't it beautiful? I really like it. That's probably from the 50s. This is a pattern for a bridal wreath bedspread. And then I pulled this from the top of an antique book. It says the happy couple. And that's on top of antique paper there. This here is from the 60s, so about 60 years old. And it says, P.S. Will you marry me? A little story. Look at the old card sitting in there. Here is a real photo. That's an original. And that looks like, I don't know if it's a bride or a bridesmaid, but it's sweet. I think it's a bridesmaid, but isn't that beautiful outside the church? I love it. And then speaking of churches, this is from 1904, and that's the Chester Cathedral. I love it. Beautiful plate there, and you can journal on both sides of that. And this is my friend Stephanie gave me this. I still have one more after this, I think maybe 2, and it's from 1957 Bride Bingo. Brand new. It looks like it, but it's actually quite old. Almost 75 years old. Can you believe it? Oh my God, I feel so old all of a sudden. Little hidden journaling spot up there for the bride. And up here, I've got beautiful laces and crochet. And this is something that somebody added to my comments a long time ago and said you should always put something blue in every wedding journal. So there it is. Something blue. It's something old and blue. And the journal itself is new. You just have to put something forward in this. The bride is good to go. There's another bedspread pattern here. And this is really cool. This is a 1947 publication of bridal veils through history. And look at these. This one's my favorite. Look at this crazy thing. Is that amazing? corsets, groom's boots. It's just really, really cool piece. And then beautiful fashions on the other side. And then this I added because also it had blue in it. And that's the Something Blue, and that is from the 1800s, a German marbling page. This is just a beautiful, elegant fleur-de-lis design. I just thought it was elegant like a wedding. This is from 1927 from a beautiful needlepoint book, and this pattern is called Wedding Bells, and that is for the trousseau linen. So that would have been something you would give to a young girl that she would put in her wedding chest or her marriage chest, a nice wooden box that they had, a cedar box, and she'd put all her things, collecting them for when she got married. This is a funny little image from 1927, the treasure chest, my book series. And yeah, the horse bride is being presented to the groom here, who is not impressed. Pretty hilarious. I've used that page a couple of times because I have so many of that book. This is fantastic. It's from 1913. You will see that it is, actually, I can just do this right now because it's in two pieces. It's got the bride here. How beautiful is she? So that is an Edwardian bride. And then this here is another beautiful image of her looking in a mirror. So I'll just tuck those both back in here. So beautiful. And look at this great iron-on, the little Mr. and Mrs. Bird here. That is another iron-on cross-stitch or needlepoint that you would use back from the 1940s. It's a Laura Wheeler pattern. And then this is a plate from the early 1900s. And to me, she just looked like a bride. I love it. I think it's absolutely stunning. Super old and in beautiful condition. This is fun. I pulled this out of a 1950s teen music book. I Love You to the Point of No Return. And those are the words to that. And then this is from a vintage Monopoly game. Little bride and groom here have to pay $25 to get married. Pretty cheap. This is another prayer from the marriage portfolio that you would have given the wedding couple at their wedding. And this is from a vintage storybook here. Fiddle-dee, fiddle-dee, the fly shall marry the humblebee. There's the little bride and groom there. And then this is an antique book page here. They're yesterday's. And I pulled this postcard from 1907 because it reminded me of a bouquet of flowers. So I just thought that every wedding journal has to have flowers. Here's another beautiful early 1900s plate of a beautiful couple here. And there's more Chantilly lace. And then this is from the 1800s. It says The Bride of Corinth, and it's a beautiful poem. And I just thought that was really special. And then look at this one here from a Buffalo wedding. Look at this couple. Like, just look at the bridesmaids' dresses. It just screams 1950s, doesn't it? It's fabulous. I love it so much. Ah, so great. I had so much fun with this. Now, tomorrow is Valentine's Day, so I put this in here because Valentine's Day is about people in love. And yeah, so I thought that would be fun in there. And then this here is that from that same 1947 fashions book, and this is a 1947 fashion. So this would be, this is Venetian Lake, Maggie Ralph design. Look at that. That is stunning. Pretty risque too for the 40s, let me tell you. This was a dedication page from an antique book to my husband. I just left it alone because I thought it was fantastic. Another different antique book, The Engagement here. And then I put some of my pressed flowers in here. And this is from a 1936 print almanac page. You can see there's a couple here getting married as well. Isn't it awesome? Oh my God, I had so much fun collecting all of this. I really, really did. Here is the declaration, the wedding declaration. This is from 1937, by the way. You can do some journaling here. And this is, believe it or not, a vintage paper doily from the 50s that would have been used at wedding showers or all kinds of occasions, sandwiches and baked goods and things for parties. So I just left it alone. You can do whatever you like with that, whoever gets to own this journal. Here's another beautiful vintage plate here. This little couple walking through the forest. And then you can open that up and there's all kinds of journaling space here. This is here because it is, I have to have birds in every journal. So this is a Mr. and Mrs. Bird and their egg and their nest. So I thought that was pretty wonderful. This is just a really fun little bangle here on a vintage wool button. You don't see these very often, but it's kind of fun. And it's vintage, both of those pieces there. This is from 1850s, a Hogarth engraving, and it's called Marriage a la Mode. And you can see the bride here and the men discussing the paperwork for that. the wedding gift at the end, and that is House of Happiness. Perfect, right? So I hope you love it as much as I loved making it. It's going in hyperstamper.etsy.com right now. And please visit soon. Don't forget to subscribe. Bye for now.